It's the middle of August, and a boot camp is underway at Dalhousie University. These are star students in neuroscience, biomedical engineering, math, and computer science. They've come together to participate in a one-of-a-kind program that pushes them to develop products that could help change the world for the better.
My biggest objective, my biggest goal as a student, and even now like as a medical student, is always to make some sort of change. I definitely see myself someday being involved with some sort of medical technology, making a product that everybody would use, or making a product that millions of people would use. And that's my real sort of focus, and that's where I want to use my time and use the knowledge that I have to help people in that way.
The Summer Institute in Neurotechnology, Innovation, Commercialization, and Entrepreneurship, or NICE, is the brainchild of its director, Dr. Aaron Newman. He wants to give students the entrepreneurial skills they need, but time is tight.
So in the course of 2 weeks, of course, they're not going to learn everything they need to know about launching a business, but what we want them to do is get the core principles down.
It's Wednesday, day 3 of boot camp, and Isabel Domingo is working with Josh Salmon, a teammate, as they test the viability of their business model.
So we've got 4 people in our group. I'm the only out-of-towner. So we have Jasmine, Yaish, and Josh. We're looking at developing brain training software in helping people learn names and faces, or helping people remember the names and faces of the people that they meet. We're trying to explore all the possible people that we might want to use or could be able to benefit from this idea.
For Newman, this process of finding out what customers want is essential.
The thing that a lot of people don't realize about this process of commercialization and innovation is you don't have the right answer from the start. You don't just sort of have an idea one day, follow it through, and then 12 months later it's a product on the market. There's a lot of iterating, there's a lot of feedback that you need to get, and you need to fail often and fail quickly and get that feedback and integrate that and move forward.
This team is doing just that. It's a day later, and they are scrambling to get their footing. Domingo is charged with talking to rehab therapists about their product.
Okay, so maybe for at least that population, maybe a computer-based therapy might not be the most applicable solution.
We were thinking about therapy as being a possible avenue for this kind of thing, but after talking to a speech therapist or a clinician, we found out that typically software-based therapies aren't something that they use yet.
But with another potential customer segment, students, the team appears to be getting a better result.
What if you could also take a picture of something in a textbook, put a label to it, and play it like a flashcard game? Do you think people would use that?
If like the course and like those sorts of things actually like help improve people's marks, then I'm more likely to use it than not.
Right.
So like if it showed like a drastic improvement in like course average, I'd probably be more inclined to like pay for it.
I love my project and my team. It's so much fun. We just sort of did a pivot, so we're still in the brainstorming phase, talking to people, seeing what we come up with.
But this way also we would have like a tangible market to go after in our first sort of like, this is when we're giving our pitch, like who is your first customer that's going to adopt this?
Right.
Students wanting to study.
This has more applicability in terms of like the student population right around us, and they'll be more enticed by this whole thing. So hopefully we get those sparkly eyes and people like really wanting it. It's Thursday afternoon on the 4th day. It's now 3 p.m. So we have 2 hours left of today. And what's happened in the first 30 minutes is we've gotten enough feedback to suggest that our initial idea isn't going to work. So we're now in this process of pivoting, and it's kind of frantic right now. So there's a completely new business model that has to be devised with new customer segments and a new value proposition in order to cater to the feedback that we've received. So it's frantic right now, and hopefully we get something together by tomorrow that everybody who's listening to it will like.
Tomorrow, all the teams pitch to a panel of experts.
So the students have been working on their proposals and developing their business models for really only 4 days now. They've come up with an idea, they've refined it, they've gone out, they've talked to people, and now we ask them to do a pitch. And doing a pitch for an idea after 4 days of developing it is kind of crazy, right? In the real world, nobody would be doing that. But we want them to get this feedback, and we want them to get it early. And the way to get that feedback is to stand up and actually own your idea, present it, tell people what you're thinking, and then get some feedback on it.
So what we see is in today's climate, there's more and more students who need to absorb more and more content.
The idea right now is we are going to have a learning tool. Right now it's going to be a mobile app that students can use by taking visual flashcards, so they can take pictures of names, faces, or whatever it is in their textbook, and they can add a label or a description to it. Those flashcards get incorporated into a game.
So there's going to be a little spaceship coming down, and I'm trying to identify the thing in the spaceship
that students will be able to use to reinforce their learning.
We're really sort of looking to get in on this trend, moving towards online learning tools and online classes, and maybe in the future integrating with those online classes.
And that game can be made into like a social game that you can play with your group mates or your friends, and use that as a competition, so you know if you're doing better than your friend or how fast you are.
The guests on the panel don't sugarcoat their feedback for the team.
What I hear is something anybody could throw together. What's the neuroscience basis that you could bring to this that's going to step up the level of efficacy?
If you create a context by talking about these other companies and how they're doing the revenue, then at least we would, we could anchor against that and say, oh, okay, therefore it's a possible marketplace. But otherwise, I think, okay, there's a lot of games out there, a lot of things in gamification, but there's no revenue. And you could be one of those.
Newman says the critiques have a purpose.
It can be really hard to, present your ideas, especially when they're still new, and get feedback that may not entirely be positive. But we do it because we want, over the next week, for them to really, up their game and take that feedback, use it, and refine their ideas, refine their pitches, so that when they come to the final pitch competition, they're not going in cold. They know what kind of questions they might get asked. They know where the weaknesses were the first time round. They've done something to address those.
So a lot has changed since yesterday, and a lot is going to change again, because with this feedback that we've just received, we know that there's a lot of things to work on. It's always interesting being up there and like having the lights on you and the spotlight, and like feeling the heat a bit up there. You know exactly how those guys in Dragon's Den feel when they're with those millionaires who are giving them ideas back. And yeah, it is pretty daunting, but I mean, it's very exciting at the same time. This is how you learn. It's the high pressure situations that you really relish. And hopefully by Monday, we're all reinvigorated, rejuvenated with a bunch of fresh new ideas.
Newman says it's characteristics like Yaish's that lead to success in the program.
Really what we want are people who are high energy, who are really dedicated to doing something different, having an impact in the world, and they're just curious about what their options are. We just need people who are enthusiastic, who want to try something new, who aren't afraid of failure and of constructive feedback.
Falls are the second leading cause of accidental death.
It's the final pitch, and all 5 teams are vying to win over the dragons in the room. The team's concept is far more polished than a week ago, and so are they. But is it enough for top honors?
Study Genie is a study platform that will allow users to create visual flashcards.
Sean Sears, a seasoned CEO and investor in the technology space, tells them their science needs a retune.
So I think you're right square in the middle of something. I'm not convinced that your expression of the science is the right one.
But then the team hears this.
I think what you have will sell like crazy, and I'm interested.
And for them, it's their win.
We got some interest and an offer to talk about things in further detail later, should we decide to develop the product and turn it into a real company. That was the best feeling.
And I feel like the team nailed it. We absolutely did it better than any of our practice runs. So yeah, it was really fantastic.
I thought it went well. We got really good feedback. One of the dragons said they were even interested in the idea. Most of the comments were very supportive.
Yes, I absolutely do think this course is worth taking. It's a great amount of time, and you get a full credit, and you learn so much. And I think this program is very unique to Dal.
If you want to apply or find out more about the Nice Summer Institute, go to www.dal.ca/radiant.